That, and I like to know which way the wind is blowing. Anyhow, so this is my controller monitor that basically runs the drill and the cart. And so I just recently had some issues. The cart kept disconnecting from the tractor, which essentially disconnecting from the monitor in the tractor, and I couldn't run because it's a variable rate cart. And instead of having a wiring harness that is 6 inches big, it has a very small wiring harness, and it has a yellow and a green wire, and then were your CAN bus wires. Long story short, I had some sensors in the cart that were piling up, and it's sending a bad signal down my CAN bus line, and every time I turned the fan on, because all the sensors are on the same line, they didn't like each other anymore, and the controller said, if you're going to not play nice in the sandbox, I'll just lock you all out. So anyhow, I had a couple mechanic buddies show up, and they were a big help. And the one said that your CAN bus line should be running about 5 volts, and your yellow is like the sun, so it's high in the sky, and your green wire is like the grass, and it's low on the ground. So he said the yellow wire is your high wire, so it should be running about 2.6 volts, and your green is grass on the ground, it should be the low one at 2.4 volts. So anyhow, we ended up, after he told me that, I'll never forget it again, and we found out the sensor, and it was coming from bin sensor number 1, and the radar in the bin and the low level, so I don't know if it was the radar or the low level that was screwing everything up. But after I disconnected every sensor on the drill and started plugging them back in, and found out that was 2 days, 2 full days. It was not an easy find or an easy fix. Thought we had ECU problems, thought the wiring harness was screwed, and then when we got on this CAN bus situation, it was basically just a sensor. So I'm just getting to the end of the field here. But this is my camera. I got one in each tank, and that's monitoring the canola. Because you're running usually so little in there that you want to keep track. So we just crossed the line there. Bear with me. Normally I have 3 headlamps that I do because this tractor's hydraulics are a little bit undersized for an independent shank drill. And I need lots of time to get the shanks up and down. Have 2 headlamps done here on this part of the field because I'm waiting to head to the front to fill. So you can hear it, you can see the fan slowing down, so I wait, and then I click, and then seed latency, it takes a couple of seconds for the seed to get from the tank to the tip of the shank, so you want to make sure you have that engaged in enough time that the seed can make it in the dirt. Okay, so here is how many pounds per acre I'm putting down. Tank 1 and 2, because it's a double chute drill, they're hooked together. So my canola is in the front bin, the fertilizer that goes with the canola is in the second bin, and the seed that goes down beside the fertilizer, or beside the seed, sorry, and lower, is in the back bin. And it's a 2-inch opener, and the fertilizer is lower. So it's an inch down and an inch over from the seed up top, and the fertilizer down low. And right now I'm running at 4.2 pounds, but that's because my TSW, normally they go TKW, and that stands for 1,000 kernel weight, but canola is not a kernel, so it doesn't identify as a kernel, it identifies as a seed, so it's called TSW, and I still call it TKW, and I don't really care. Anyhow, we'll try to say it right, TSW. And it is, most of the canola I'm getting this year is 4.5 to 4.6. So currently I'm running a 4.58 grams per 1,000 seeds. And the bags that were running before that were a 4.60. So that means that the seeds are smaller. I was seeding some DeKalb, and about 10 acres ago I just switched, you can see the bag up in the cart ladder there, to an Ag Nutrient Proven, and the TSW SW was the same, like 4.58 and 4.60. So I didn't change my metering at all, but the DeKalb has switched to a 40-some pound bag. They were 43-pound bags, and that's how you can get your 10 acres to a bag. But the Ag Nutrient bag, I threw one in the tractor here, and there's still a 50-pound bag, which means at 4.6 grams, you can seed more acres, essentially. But I need to check the price because they should be pretty representative in a sense. So up here is my field view, my climate field view. It's a Bayer product, and I'm going to do a whole separate YouTube video on just that. It is fantastic. Has changed the way that I sort of view farming in a way from a technological standpoint. It is great. I used to like try different foliar applications. So here, for example, it's tracking population. So if I change the seed rate and then here's my legend, it'll paint it a different color. But if I change my variety, over here you can see how I was doing in orange the DeKalb, and then I switched the last couple of passes to the Ag Nutrient, and it paints it different. So once I get into the combine, these are the E-drives, and they're basically supposed to hook to the CAN bus of your machine. They track the speed, on and on and on. This tractor's too old, so I do have to enter the stuff manually up here, but in my sprayer, it tracks it all automatically. I would pound stakes at the end of the field when I was doing copper foliar application, when I was doing fungicide trials, when I was doing nutrition foliar trials, when I was doing fertilizer top dressing trials. All of these things are stakes and trying to keep it all straight. And now with this system, I will be able to track everything. I will be able to prove it. I'll be able to put it on paper. I'll be able to give demonstrations. And most of all, I will be able to benefit my farm. It is going to be awesome. So this here is a 4630 John Deere, and this is just the guidance system. I don't know what there's to say about it, except that it's really handy. The only thing that I have a lot to learn on GPSs, but I know I did put in some flags here, so that if I see rocks in the field, I can drop a flag, piece of something I see, or if I refill the drill, and I want to know where I last filled the drill, so in case something screws up, I can just go back to where the last fill was, and maybe I have to start reseeding or doing something like that, but I can keep track of it. These 2-inch openers on here, they're a low to medium disturbance. They're not a high disturbance opener, but nonetheless, I seed at 4 miles an hour. So relatively slow. You only get to seed once a year. I don't quite see the need of getting in a hurry. Might as well savor the moment if you're going to farm. And if you don't like savoring the moment, then maybe you should do something else. I don't know, maybe. Anyhow, that's just my opinion. So yeah, anyhow, we're just clipping along. I think we got a couple hundred acres of canola, and we'll be wrapped up for the end of the year. And then, like I said, next video, I'm going to really focus in on this Bayer Climate Field View product and just all the benefits that it is proving to have on the farm. All right, guys, hope seeding is going well for you. And if you're not a farmer and you just want to know how things work, this is the life. This is the life of farming right here. And it's all sunshine and roses right up until something breaks, or you don't get any rain, or something else goes sideways, and then it gets a little bit miserable. Anyhow, take care. Bye now.